Hey, Jason here from Simply Swider. So if your Frigidaire refrigerator isn't making ice, you're in the right place. In this video, I'll walk you through the four most common causes and show you exactly how to fix each one. The good news, about 80% of ice maker problems can be solved in under 30 minutes with basic tools you already have at home. Before we get started, if you run into any questions, jump into our Facebook group. Links in the description. We've got thousands of people helping each other fix their appliances, and I pop in there daily to help out. All right, so let's talk about one of the most frustrating appliance problems out there: no ice when you need it. You go to grab some ice for your drink and nothing's happening. I've been dealing with these Frigidaire ice maker problems for years, and trust me, there's usually a pretty simple explanation. Now, here's the thing: before we dive into anything complex, reach behind that ice bucket and make sure your ice maker is actually switched on. I know it sounds obvious, but I can't tell you how many service calls I've been on where someone just accidentally bumped that switch. If it's on and you're still not getting ice, unplug your fridge and let's get to work. The most common culprit I see is freezer temperature that's just not right. Your ice maker needs that freezer sitting between 0 and 5 degrees Fahrenheit to work properly. If it's running above 10 degrees, you're not going to get any ice. It's just too warm. Here's what you're going to do. Grab a flashlight if needed and locate your temperature controls on the front panel or inside the fridge. Depending on which Frigidaire model you've got, you're looking for either a dial, a slider, or a digital display. Set it between 0 and 5 degrees Fahrenheit, then wait 4 to 6 hours for the temperature to stabilize before testing your ice maker again. But here's where it gets tricky. Sometimes you'll set the temperature correctly and it still won't hold. That usually means your thermostat's gone bad. I had this customer last month with a 10-year-old unit where the freezer was sitting at 20 degrees no matter what she did with the controls. Ice was melting, frost was building up on the back wall. Classic thermostat failure. If adjusting your temperature settings doesn't fix the problem after a few hours, you're going to need to test that thermostat. You'll need to pull out the water filter housing with a 1/4 inch nut driver, drop down the control panel, and get to that thermostat. Test it for continuity with your multimeter. If it fails, replace it. These thermostats run about 10 to 30 bucks, way cheaper than a service call. Another common cause is that water inlet valve going bad. This little guy controls all the water going to your ice maker and water dispenser. No water means no ice. Pretty simple. The valve's located at the bottom back of your fridge and it can fail in a couple ways. Sometimes it's just not getting enough water pressure. You need at least 20 psi for it to work right. But more often, the valve itself goes bad. Here's how you can tell if both your water dispenser and ice maker quit working at the same time. That valve's probably your problem. I remember this guy who shut off his water supply to do some plumbing work and forgot to turn off his ice maker. That valve kept trying to pull water and burned out the solenoids because there wasn't any water flowing through to cool them down. Don't ask me how many times I've seen that one. You can run diagnostics on most Frigidaire models. If you're getting error code 56, that's your inlet valve telling you it's done. To fix this, you're going to pull that back panel off and test those solenoids with a multimeter. If any of them fail the continuity test, replace the whole valve assembly. These run about 20 to 100 bucks depending on your model. Important safety note, this repair involves both water and electrical connections. You'll need to shut off power to the fridge and turn off the water supply valve. If you're not comfortable working with electrical components or don't have a multimeter, this is definitely a job for a professional. The repair typically takes 45 minutes to an hour. Let's talk about waterline problems. This one's actually pretty easy to fix. Your water supply line can get kinked if something's pressing on it, or it can freeze up and block water flow completely. Here's your diagnostic clue. If your ice maker is only making tiny, hollow, or misshapen ice cubes, you likely have a kinked line restricting water flow. First, unplug your fridge and carefully pull it away from the wall about 2 feet. Look behind and underneath for the 1/4 inch water line. Make sure it's not pinched, kinked, or crushed under the fridge legs. Now, if that line's frozen solid, you'll usually see both the water dispenser and ice maker stop working at the same time. Here's how I fix a frozen line. Grab a hairdryer and run it on that line for about 5 to 10 minutes. Keep it moving and don't get too close or you'll melt the plastic. You can also disconnect the line and dip it in hot water if you can get to it easily. Here's a pro tip. If you ever need to shut off your water supply for any reason, turn off that ice maker too. Leaving it running without water is a great way to freeze up that line or burn out your inlet valve. These water lines are cheap to replace if they're damaged, usually 10 to 45 bucks, but most of the time you can just thaw them out and you're good to go. If none of those other fixes worked, we're looking at the ice maker assembly itself. This is the whole mechanism that actually makes the ice, and when it goes bad, you're not getting anything. The ice maker assembly sits in the upper left corner of your freezer compartment, and it's got several moving parts that can fail. Sometimes it's just loose wiring connections, which is an easy fix. But if the assembly itself is damaged, you're looking at replacing the whole thing. Here's how you can tell if it's the assembly. Those little fingers that push the ice out should always finish horizontally after a harvest cycle, never stuck vertically. If they're stuck pointing up or down, that assembly's toast. Before you replace anything though, let's try a simple reset first. Unplug your fridge for exactly 5 minutes, set a timer. While you wait, locate the ice maker's wire arm or on-off switch and make sure it's in the on position. Plug the fridge back in and wait 24 hours. This power cycle resets the ice maker to factory settings and fixes about 30% of assembly issues. If that doesn't work, you'll need to pull out that ice bucket and check the mounting screws and wire connections. Look for anything loose or obviously damaged. These assemblies run anywhere from 50 to 300 bucks depending on your model, so make sure you get the right part number. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people buy the wrong replacement part and wonder why it doesn't work. You can see the most affected models on the screen right now. These issues show up across pretty much all Frigidaire refrigerator lines. The Gallery series tends to have more water inlet valve problems, while the basic models usually have more thermostat issues. What I've noticed over the years is that the side-by-side models seem to have more frozen water line problems, probably because of where that line runs. The bottom freezer models typically have fewer ice maker issues overall, but when they do break, it's usually that whole assembly that needs replacing. Check your model number against what's shown here. Most of these fixes apply regardless of which Frigidaire you've got. Here's your action plan for fixing your Frigidaire ice maker. Start with the temperature check. That solves 40% of issues and costs nothing. Next, inspect your water line for kinks or freezing. Then test the water inlet valve if you're comfortable with electrical work. Finally, try resetting the ice maker assembly. Remember, wait 24 hours after each fix before moving to the next step. Ice makers need time to cycle, way cheaper than calling someone like me out there. If you guys know someone who's having appliance troubles, please send them the link to this video or a link to my channel where I have tons of other videos showing how to fix pretty common issues with appliances, sometimes for free or as little cost as possible. It sure beats having a repairman come out and spending several hundred for them to fix it when it could be something so simple. If this helped you get your Frigidaire making ice again, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Let me know which fix worked for you. Really helps other people with the same problem. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll get this out to more folks who need to save some time and money. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.